I prize these now. I prize my rolls. I do very good with dessert, but I know I do a little bit better with the roll.
This is my grandfather, Andrew Hendrick. Some people may call him Andrew. Others may call him Andy or Mr. Hendrick. A lot of people call him Bo Peep. But for me, even after the age of 30, I still call him Granddaddy. I did this because I wanted to know my grandfather better. I wanted to understand him on a deeper level and get the story behind the story and what got him started in baking in the first place. I think I know my way around the kitchen, but it's something totally different when you're with your grandfather and he's instructing you in his kitchen.
Bring some stuff back to me now. Doing this.
You don't have to roll Mr. Hendrick's rolls. You can tell Mr. Hendrick's rolls from anybody else's rolls.
I'm trying to keep from mucking my hands up there. Like I know. That's what I'm trying to do.
How do your hands feel?
This ain't harming enough.
Okay.
I really wanted to make sure I could get my hands dirty and see if I could learn a few things from him, the master himself.
You don't want to stick it. That's why you see me working like I did.
It brings back the memories when I was younger, and he always brought his rolls to homecoming. And everybody wanted his rolls.
I know y'all think I'm crazy. But I ain't crazy.
Well, he got that from the service, making his rolls in the service. But I think he added his own little touch to it too.
And don't ask me why I'm doing it like that. Because that's what we already done. That's don't ask like that.
Makes sense. Can I try it with that one?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I may not have the strong wrist. Eat it, right? I gotta like do all this.
Well, not really, because you got it down smaller than I have.
Well, can I just do it for fun?
If you want,
Practice?
if you want to. Oh, you do remember.
I used to play baseball.
Lord.
Do you have a preference on, do you want someone to like say they taste really good, or do you want them to say this looks really good? Or,
I want both.
okay.
See, I like them piping hot if I'm going to eat them. And that's the only way I can eat rolls like this.
Everybody wanted one, and back then, it was a lot of people. And so, if you want so many to go around. So if you got one, you did good. As a young man, even a boy, matter of fact, I remember him wearing an apron. But he always wore an apron when he served his
We
roll.
got strawberry preserve. No, we got raspberry preserve.
He's been making rolls last a long time.
I want to tell you something dumb. When I work with them rolls, I work them with a spiritual feeling, if that makes sense to you. That's the only thing I can say about them. I'm doing my very best with them. And especially back yonder when I was really, when I used to carry 200, 300 over to Jordan Hill and up to the chapel.
The story about my grandfather wouldn't be complete without a stop to Jordan Hill Missionary Baptist Church. That's his home church. That's where a lot of this got started. Where he had his first community, where these folks know him and have known him for decades, going way back.
Jordan Hill is the jewel of the community for the African descent people. It's been here roughly 139 years. It has withstood the test of time.
You know, what I loved about Deacon Hendrick when I first met him was that he sort of reminded me of Matthew 5:37, where it said, let your yea be yea, let your nay be nay. You know what I mean? You knew where it was coming from. You didn't have to guess. You didn't have to sort of try to figure out what he was talking about. And when he said something, he meant what he said, and he sort of stood by his word. So that's always a breath of fresh air in the church.
When I think about him, I think about how firm and how committed he was to what he believed in. He was like a good role model for any youngster here, any especially young man, because whatever he believed in, he stood on that. He wasn't wish-washy, and so you know, and he just stood on it. And so we know anytime he said anything, he was willing to support it, and he was willing to go to bat for it, which means a lot.
I ain't telling no lie.
Yeah, it means a lot.
The church was full of people, especially around homecoming time. And there's just about as many down there gambling among them trees as there was in church.
The ladies would light up with a smile on their face when you walk through the, at that time we would be in the adjacent building, which we called back then the clubhouse. They would have a tailgate. That's modern terminology.
You know, part of his legacy is just giving back. Just giving back. He come by here once in a while to encourage us, his home church, and we sort of enjoy that. And he don't require a lot of attention.
But this is where I was born, over here. And when I got old enough to, and I made the decision to join church, this was my church.
Your grandfather and his father and mother were backbones of this church during the last 75 to 80 years. They've supported the church financially as well as physically, whether they were present or not.
My grandfather's been a deacon at this church and a dedicated member of the Jordan Hill community for over half a century.
But Calvin Boyd's brother, when he came out of the Saints out of the church, he had a roll in his hand. And now I'm gonna finish stop talking, eat. Well, I did the best I could. I'll put it that way. And when I use that term, I'm thinking, especially in the church work operation. And I didn't put on no airs, I just being me. So that's why, and I'm still that way so far as I'm concerned.
For as long as I can remember, family history has always been important to me. Just the ability to sit down with the elder and ask them questions like, where do you come from? Who are your siblings? Who are your parents? What events in your life have shaped you? And how'd you end up in my life? Two people that come to mind are my maternal grandparents, Alice and Andrew Hendrick.
I was born in Warren County, North Carolina, and Oakford Township. And as well as I can remember, I lived there until from 34 until 1940. It was seven of us. And the war broke out and we started moving around. I went to Baltimore. First I went to Henderson from Oakville. And then from Henderson to Baltimore in 41, I believe it was. And we stayed up there until the war ended. I was in the Army Engineers. That was what we called it. The mess sergeant asked me in Korea, did I want to bake? I told him I didn't know how to bake. He said, well, now I want to know again, do you want to bake, learn to bake? I said, yeah. So he said, well, tomorrow morning, that's the way he said it, Suave, you come in with him. And I learned all my baking from Gordon Suave. The Stiff family, her mama and daddy came to visit us after church service and this particular Sunday and welcome us to the community and invited us to Taylor Chapel Church. And of course she was with them. And but I had seen her when we were living in Alberta. She was in college, St. Paul College. And some more girls, talking about some more girls around. And they were talking about how strict Mr. Stiff was. They didn't. So I said, well, he put his pants on just like I do, one leg at a time. I go down there, he don't want me there, I leave his house. He never invited me to go away. And we stayed in close communication from 51 to 55. And I came back from Korea. We were supposed to be getting married in 56, but I was shipped to Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas. So she came out, but in the meantime, we decided to get married then instead of waiting the next June. Well, you got responsibility, not to the wife only, but to your children. And you want to teach them the best you know how, to learn and be responsible for yourself. That's my basic. And in doing that, I think I come up pretty good with my two. Well, I might say with my three, because they're adopted son, volunteer adopted, not legally. We were really tight. Well, there's two things after we got married and started having family. I wanted my children to get more education than I got. And my next primary was to buy me a piece of land and put me a house on it. And the grace of God, I accomplished both. So I feel like I'm very well blessed. Very well blessed. All the way around with what I set out or had in my head to do, and with my family as well. I'm gonna put it this way, I just try to set a good record. Where I go along, I try to go along smooth to help people. And whatever they want to say about that, that's it. I ain't got nothing particular except for myself. except what I just said.
All in all, this has been an amazing experience. Having the opportunity to hang with my grandfather, learning a little bit more about him and his history, his lineage, and then being able to tap into his passion. And I know that passion didn't come out of the blue. It came from him being forced to do something, but he translated what was an obligation into a passion. And 50 years later, here I am, able to sit at his feet or stand next to him in his kitchen and learn directly from him. From his hands to mine. I'm grateful for this. This is history.
Can you lose by following God? I'm not talking about following people. I'm not talking about following your friends. I'm not talking about following different preachers. I'm not talking about following other men. Can you lose